company.
Tonight on Ctv3 News, Prime Minister John Briceño speaks on current state of emergency in parts of the city and the West. He also states he would support a 90-day SOE. The brazen attack on the house of the Compole is condemned by the PM. More than 30 men sought under the SOE. And ground breaks for a $1.5 million state-of-the-art auditorium for La Inmaculada School. These are some of the stories we have for you tonight in our newscast for Thursday, June 27, 2024.
This plan, I can't leave this plan. Smart Belize!
Hey there, smart thinkers! We're turbocharging your mobile experience with Smart's powered up postpaid plans. Imagine a world where your data speeds flows faster than ever. Well, guess what? We've cranked up the dial and unleashed the postpaid power of Smart's lightning fast LTE data on all our postpaid plans. That's right, no speed bumps, more data. It's like having a limitless highway of data speed at your fingertips. Whether you're a lone ranger with an individual plan or a squad rolling with a group plan, everyone gets to surf, stream, and share at enhanced, full, high-quality speed. Switch to Smart's powered-up postpaid plans today and ride the wave of postpaid power. Visit any Smart showroom or smart-bz.com for details and make your mobile experience smarter and faster. Smart, bringing people together.
I know I can't let this blind. I can't let this blind.
Good evening with your news, also simulcast on Fiesta FM 106.7. I am Joanna Rodriguez. A state of emergency was imposed earlier this week in various areas of the country, including parts of Belize City, as well as Roaring Creek and Cotton Tree in the west. This decision follows a spate of gang activities in these areas over the past few weeks. The SOE targeted over 90 individuals in these areas who are believed to be affiliated in some way with gang activity. Thus far, police have apprehended a large portion of the individuals. However, they are still seeking several others under the state of emergency. These persons will be in detention at the Central Prison for a period of 30 days in the first instance, but there have been calls by different factions, including the Commissioner of Police and Minister of Agriculture, Honorable Jose Mai, to have the SOE extended for 90 days. Prime Minister Honorable John Briceño today joined in on those sentiments, conceding that 90 days would be the ideal time for the SOE to allow police the opportunity to quell the criminal activity in these areas. PM Briceño, though, clarified that the ongoing SOE will in no way infringe in the daily lives of law-abiding citizens in the areas applied.
It's really a sad state of affairs when we have our young people behaving in such lawless fashion. A small group, I need to make that point. No? And certainly maybe we've done the 30-day, and it cools them off for a little while, and then they go back to the same kind of behavior. So the recommendation from the Commissioner and the Minister of Police, they are the ones that recommended that maybe we should consider extending the state of emergency in these areas for 90 days. But at the same time, we're quickly pointing out that it does not mean that we're going to infringe in the movement of our citizens. Our law-abiding citizens have nothing to worry. Their lives and their daily moves in and out remains the same. It's only the people that we believe that are out there creating havoc and creating a lot of trouble, and even with the murders and shooting. I think we need to get them off the street. And hopefully with the 90 days to allow them either to calm down, but at the same time for the police to do a proper investigation to see who are these people that have been creating all of this problem in our society.
PM Briceño today also condemned the brazen attack on the house of Commissioner of Police Chester Williams, which happened on Tuesday night. This behavior, according to the PM, cannot be tolerated in our small country.
This kind of behavior is not, should not be tolerated for anybody, for any citizen, be it a commissioner or be you as a reporter or anyone. I think that's a no-no, and we need to stop that immediately.
Police are asking the public to be on the lookout for more than 30 men they want as part of the state of emergency instituted this week. The men are Calvin Graham, Jafari Gongwes, Damon Saldano, Eamon Munnings, Delroy Reynolds, Gian Sutherland, Malcolm Myers, Irvin Fitzgibbon, Byton Tillett, Gaston Barrow, Japheth Bennett, Santos Sanchez, Kentroy McCoy, Ryan Thompson, Alric Lamb, Christian Castillo, Andre Kerr, Errol Matura, Christopher Witzel, Irvin Ramdas, Jalen Oshun, Jeremy Martinez, Jaira Arnold, Jerwin Carcamo, John Greenidge, Kendall Green, Kareem Fisher, Kenyon Flores, Kenrick Gordon, Maximiliano Jones, Victor Parham, Tariq Gillett, Charles Young, and Brandon Young, as well as Charleston Green and Kenrick Cumberbatch. If any are seen, contact the nearest police station or 922. 94 persons had been detained over the first 2 days of the state of emergency in Southside Belize City and the villages of Roaring Creek and Cotton Tree, Cayo District. Ground was officially broken today for the construction of a state-of-the-art $1.5 million auditorium at the compound of La Immaculada RC School here in Orange Walk Town. Marking a significant milestone, the students, teachers, parents, and administration of the school were all present this afternoon to witness the event. The La Immaculada RC Felicita Auditorium is being constructed in honor of a pioneer educator here in Orange Walk, the late Felicita Briceño, the mother of Prime Minister John Briceño. Norma Ruiz reports.
It was a significant day for the students, teachers, and administrators of La Immaculada Roman Catholic School here in Orange Walk Town, as ground was officially broken for the construction of the La Immaculada RC Felicita Auditorium. The project, which is set to begin construction in the next 2 weeks, has been a dream of the school for several years. After much lobbying and knocking on doors, School Principal Lene Umania says today's groundbreaking is a testament to the commitment and dedication of the school and its most loyal supporters.
This auditorium will not only be a physical structure, but a symbol of unity, of growth and progress in our community. The idea of having a school auditorium has been long overdue. From a want, it has now become a need. Although 1 year ago, the idea seemed far-fetched, we decided as an administration to throw this idea to the staff, who immediately embraced this endeavor and prepared to work arduously for it to become a reality. We knew from the get-go it would not be an easy task. There would be great financial constraints and a lot of hard work, but we were determined to make it a start.
The state-of-the-art facility will boast the name La Immaculada RC Felicita Auditorium as a tribute to the late Felicita Briceño, the mother of Prime Minister John Briceño and Jaime Briceño. Teacher Fel, as she was affectionately known, dedicated her entire life to education in Orange Walk, a significant portion of which was at La Immaculada RC.
So, as we break ground today, it has been a very bittersweet moment, an entire year of waiting, of struggles, of rock days, of fundraising, of criticism, both good and bad, of recommendations, and a hard-working staff and children and parents who joined their forces. So as we break the ground today, let us also break barriers and build bridges towards a brighter future together. This auditorium will serve as a place where ideas are exchanged, talents are showcased, and memories are made. It will be a hub for creativity, collaboration, and celebration of our staff, our teachers, our children, and our parents. I would like to express my deepest gratitude to all those who have worked tirelessly to bring this vision to life. Your dedication and commitment has paved the way for this exciting new chapter at our school and our community's history. Let us look forward to the day when we gather once again, not to celebrate a groundbreaking ceremony, but actually the grand opening of the La Immaculada RC Felicita Auditorium. Felicita, you might be wondering why. It's because she represented a great teacher who was inspirational, dedicated, and very committed, and who loved this very school dearly and dedicated her life to the children under her care. She was humble and a true educator in all its senses. She too is the mother of our dear Prime Minister. May it stand as a testament that great teachers live on forever in our hearts and our lives. And she will be that beacon. This auditorium will be the beacon of inspiration for generations to come.
The project counts with the full endorsement of Prime Minister Briceño and his family, as well as from the government of Belize. Aside from honoring the legacy of his late mother, PM Briceño says his support falls in line with Plan Belize, which seeks continuous growth in areas of education.
I was full of emotion to think that the staff and the management of La Macolada RC School would honor my mother by naming this auditorium that they want to build in her memory. But today I gave me the opportunity to name a lot of teachers like Teacher Carrillo, Teacher Henry, Teacher Musa, even Teacher Lot Aragon and his wife Teacher Teresa. All these are teachers that touched the lives of hundreds and hundreds of students. Teacher Femia, Teacher Ramon, they are the ones that helped to mold Orange Rock into the Orange Rock of today. So it's a time of emotion, but also at the time of celebration, and to try to help the school that I attended to be able to build an auditorium, something that's surely lacking and needed for the school.
The official groundbreaking was carried out by school principal Lenny Umania, manager of Catholic schools Father Marco Rodriguez, and Prime Minister John Briceño. The auditorium is expected to be completed in 1 year. Reporting for Ctv3 News, Norma Ruiz.
The PUP is some 2 weeks away from holding a convention in the Corozal Bay constituency. 2 women are contesting for the standard bearer seat. The current area representative for the constituency, Elvia Vega Samos, and Thea Garcia Ramirez. When it comes to Vega Samos, she is the Minister of State in the Ministry of Human Development, Families, and Indigenous Peoples Affairs. At the helm of that ministry is Honorable Dolores Balderramos Garcia, who also happens to be the aunt of Thea Garcia Ramirez. So, who will Minister Balderramos Garcia support? Will it be her fellow parliamentarian or her niece? Here is her response.
Let me just, it's going to be a no comment, right? But let me just confirm one thing. Minister Elvia Vega Samos is our Minister of State in the Ministry of Human Development, Families and Indigenous Peoples Affairs. That's on the one hand. And on the other hand, Ms. Thea Garcia Ramirez is my niece. No further comment.
And there is more news after the break. Stay tuned.
The Orange Walk Clinical Lab Summer Promotion 2024 is here. Get your summer promotion on glucose, cholesterol, triglyceride, and hemoglobin for only $20. Also fantastic promotions on prostate PSA for only $50. We also have other packages on promotion. We also provide DNA paternity testing. We take this opportunity to inform the general public in the Orange Walk District that we are an approved NHI lab service provider. So for all your NHI lab tests, just visit your NHI medical provider and visit us at the Orange Walk Clinical Laboratory. We take care of all your NHI lab tests. Results are provided the same day. Come visit us on number 20 San Antonio Road, Orange Walk Town. Call for details at 322-0423 or 600-2727. Call 630-1479. Remember, don't wait for symptoms. Check your health today. The Orange Walk Clinical Laboratory.
Today, the government announced the approval of a 5-year, $125 million grant investment in energy and education in Belize by Millennium Challenge Corporation MCC Board of Directors. In April 2024, the government of Belize GOB and the U.S. government's Millennium Challenge Corporation MCC completed formal negotiations on the $125 million U.S. grant agreement called the MCC Belize Compact at MCC headquarters in Washington, D.C. The Belize Compact will tackle challenges in education and high electricity costs that limit sustainable and inclusive economic growth in the country. The compact will consist of two projects, the Education Project and the Energy Project, both of which will be implemented by a new statutory body called the Millennium Challenge Account Belize. The approval of this project, according to Prime Minister John Briceño, will significantly benefit both areas of education and energy in our country during the next 5 years.
In early September, we're going to have the signing ceremony. $125 million US dollars is 250 million. And it's significant because 80% of that is going to be invested in education. And some of the things that they've been looking at is to see how we can connect education directly with the needs of the country as it's growing. So it's not just about churning out students from the school, but to ensure that they can be able to participate in the economy of the future. So we're looking at that, looking at teacher training. So it's a very exciting time for Belize, and the same thing with energy. They want to participate in government to look at how we could implement new and innovative laws, help us in acquiring the battery bank that we want to get to be able to store a lot of energy that we could use when there's no sun. So there's a lot of things that are going on, and I'm very grateful to the Millennium Challenge Corporation and their board, Ms. Albright, who is the chairperson, and then also, of course, to the United States government, to the Congress for approving this, to the U.S. Embassy here, who are the ones that initiated this move when seeing that we were living up to these challenges, having a free society, growing the economy, creating opportunities for people, stamping out corruption. So this is a part of that work, and we are grateful that they have recognized the work that we're doing.
Official signing of the agreement is expected to be carried out sometime in the month of September. The Anti-Trafficking in Persons Council is the national response to human trafficking in Belize. Though this entity, the Belize government, in partnership with civil society, the private sector, and the international organization community, continues to commit to preventing human trafficking, detecting and disrupting human trafficking offenses, protecting vulnerable communities and victims, investigating all potential cases of human trafficking, and prosecuting traffickers. Moving one step forward today, ATIPS launched its strategic measures to combat human trafficking in Belize. This has been a work in progress for a number of years, so today was history in the making for those in the battle, including the Minister of Human Development, Families and Indigenous Peoples Affairs, Honorable Dolores Balderramos Garcia.
Well, it's the presentation of our strategy of the Anti-Trafficking in Persons Council, and so it demonstrates that a lot of work has been done in terms of what has brought us to this point. But the presentation of the strategy is indicating our direction and the things that we intend to do in partnership, of course. You know, that seems to be the buzzword for today. So in terms of fighting trafficking, you know, you have prevention, protection, prosecution, and partnership. So the 4 Ps I was able to remember, you know. I think that there has been a lot of work that has brought us to today. And I'm very happy that Ms. Jonna Murillo, our coordinator, and working closely with the council, I'm glad that she was able to give us that direction, the strategic direction that we have to go in terms of combating trafficking. So I'm very pleased with the presentation today.
During today's interview, Minister Dolores was also questioned about a report from the U.S. Department of State indicating that high officials in Belize are also involved in human trafficking. This was how she responded.
As a matter of fact, that is something that I flagged this week to cabinet colleagues, that the U.S. report keeping us on the tier 2 does refer to sometimes official complicity in trafficking. And so therefore, the struggle has to be kept up in terms of looking at the official complicity, because although many times the U.S. Embassy doesn't tell us exact cases, we have to look at where there can be official complicity. Sometimes it is of the police. And again, I'm not throwing stones at the police for all the work that they do. But where there is official complicity, we have to continue the fight to stamp it out. And government has sent out the message loud and clear that we do not approve whatsoever of police being security guards at bars and other nighttime establishments where there can be commercial sexual activity, that we can see that there could be trafficking of persons there. So the struggle continues. And again, although the United States, the State Department report might not name names, if they are talking about official complicity, we have to keep up that. Well, I think, again, because our borders are porous, we have to keep up that struggle. The government is looking at making an official border crossing in that area of the south so that we can have better control, goods and services, cross-border trade. But of course, with all of that, then we know that the possibility of trafficking continues. And so that is where we have to keep up the fight. The focus on training, the focus on collaboration with all the ministries, whether it is the customs people, the immigration people, human services. This is where we have to look at the investigations and the capacity to investigate. In relation to the comment on Cuban Medical Brigade, the government has flagged that in terms of our discussion with the U.S. Authorities, and my understanding is that there may have been one case of maybe holding someone's passport, but as a whole, give us the information is what government is saying to the U.S. Give us the information. We are willing to cooperate in every way, not because you are telling us to do so, but because it's the right thing to do. But I would like to say that I don't think that there is any solid evidence of that kind of trafficking where it comes to the Cuban Medical Brigade. I just want to mention that, but we're not in any fight or anything with the U.S. Embassy or the U.S. State Department. It's just that they have to allow us. They can't dictate to us, but they have to allow us as a country to do those investigations when and where an accusation may arise.
Of note is that Belize has made substantial efforts to comply with the minimum standards for the elimination of trafficking, and as a result has maintained its Tier 2 status on the annual U.S. Department of State's Trafficking in Persons TIP report for the year 2024. Yesterday, when he spoke to the media, Agriculture Minister Jose Mai spoke on the ongoing effects of climate change on the productive sector in our country. At this time, farmers are facing increasing rains, which came following an extensive period of extreme drought in the first half of the year. This immediate shift in the weather conditions in our country, according to Minister Mai, have had some damaging effects on various sectors, including the sugar industry and carrot production. With similar conditions only expected to worsen in the coming years, the Ministry of Agriculture is focusing on slowly transitioning the sector towards more climate-smart agriculture and practices.
The mill had to go on a pause. There is still a substantial amount of sugar in the fields. I believe that if the rains continue, we will not be able to harvest the sugar cane. We already had a problem because of a shortage of labor. So we couldn't get all the cane harvested in time. And so I believe that if it doesn't stop raining, we won't be able to harvest the cane. And I don't think we've reached the 1 million tons yet. We're about to reach that 1 million tons, but I don't think we've reached it yet. So that's one thing. In the area of livestock, too much dry affects grass production, which is the food for cows, and too much water also affects because the grass is full of water, the animals digest quickly, they poop a lot, and therefore weight gain is reduced. So both extremes. And we're right there. We have dry one day, drought, no grass, and now we have an abundance of grass. And so this is what farmers have to live with every day. It's always a challenge. You saw the carrots lately, the last part of the crop. The rains came in, the crop was in the field. That carrot was very bad quality. And so these are the challenges that farmers face every day, right? Weather, the soil, the insects, the diseases. And so it's always a challenge for farmers, and that's why we must be grateful to having farmers in this country. They have to be respected and honored for the hard work they do to try to put food on the table for Belizean and people.
In Belize, many persons have had to remain silent after being violated sexually, verbally, physically, or even psychologically due to the absence of a detailed legislation that would satisfy protection or redress. But that is about to change because the anti-sexual harassment bill will go through its second reading in the House of Representatives tomorrow.
Sure. Well, we have a new anti-sexual harassment legislation coming on for second reading tomorrow, and I'm very pleased that we have been able to update the very old legislation that was there from the 1990s. So we will do the second reading tomorrow. We expect some input and we expect some exchanges back and forth. We have looked at one or two amendments to the original legislation to make things a little clearer in terms of the responsibility and liability of employers. Because when it comes to institutions, it could be an educational institution, it could be working with a landlord and tenant relationship, it can be many, many institutions, and of course the biggest institution that we know of is government. So the question might arise as to the liability of government where an employee is sexually harassing another employee. So I want to refer you to look at section 16 and also 18 of the Act, because the liability of the employer would arise where the employer is aware of what is happening. You can't be liable for something you don't know about. But the Act is really signaling that in terms of sexual harassment, we're very serious. It could be cyber bullying, it could be that kind of cyber sexual harassment, so we're strengthening it there. But the reason I'm focusing on responsibility of the employer is that it is very much there in the Act. And so we're not going to put an onus on an employer where the employer doesn't know, but where the employer is aware and doesn't take steps to prevent and to any further sexual harassment, that is where liability arises. And it's also signaling that with the strengthening of this anti-sexual harassment legislation, we're sending the signal that we are very serious, because we have too much of the catcalling on the street, we have the bullying, we have you can send somebody an unwelcome photo or an unwelcome message that amounts to harassment. But one of the good things about the legislation is that it does provide for some kind of mediation or settlement before going to a criminal offense. So where it comes to an institution, the Act is signaling that the responsibility of those in charge will be to intervene where there is an act of sexual harassment. But if it is something outside of an institution, then it may attract a criminal liability that somebody can make a complaint to the police. You see? But we really feel that this is going to be an act that will signal the seriousness of government. But we, of course, have to act in partnership with everybody, like I said.
Once the bill becomes law, the Minister of Human Development, Families and Indigenous Peoples Affairs says there will be zero tolerance for sexual harassment.
To signal zero tolerance. We have to signal the zero tolerance. And again, where there is a report and there is the awareness of the people who are in charge, that means the superiors within the government, all the way up to the CEO, things have to happen. In other words, it does not prevent the person who has been harassed and has a complaint from going to the police, but also the responsibility of those who are in charge. So I think that with signaling the zero tolerance, whoever it is, nobody is above the law. No one is above the law, and we just have to make sure that wherever there can be sexual harassment, sexual assault, we can recall, it's a foreign case I'm going to refer to now, but we can recall when the Spanish woman team, the Spanish women, won the World Cup of soccer, football in Spain. The guy who was in charge of the whole FIFA and everything, he grabbed the lady and kissed her by mouth without any kind of permission whatsoever. And that goes even beyond harassment. That is really a sexual assault, where you can do something like that without even seeking somebody's permission or seeing whether it is consensual. So I know I'm using a foreign example, but where that kind of thing would happen in Belize, then we are signaling zero tolerance. And so I really believe that if we're serious, we can take this thing forward.
The bill proposes to repeat the Protection Against Sexual Harassment Act, Chapter 107 of the 2020 Revised Laws of Belize, make new and robust provisions for the prevention and protection of persons from sexual harassment, and provide a right of redress for persons so affected. The House of Representatives is expected to meet on Friday, where a number of significant bills are expected to be tabled. Among the pressing matters slated for tomorrow's meeting, according to Prime Minister John Briceño, are the Disability Bill as well as the Anti-Sexual Harassment Bill.
Well, we have different bills that we want to finish: the disability bill, the anti-sexual harassment bill, two very important and historic pieces of legislation that we were going to pass. So these are some of the things that we're going to do, and some other pieces of legislation that we want to introduce.
Thank you very much.
And there is more news after the break. Stay tuned.
This plan, I can't leave this plan. Smart Belize.
Hey there, smart thinkers! We're turbocharging your mobile experience with Smart's powered up postpaid plans. Imagine a world where your data speeds flows faster than ever. Well, guess what? We've cranked up the dial and unleashed the postpaid power of Smart's lightning fast LTE data on all our postpaid plans. That's right, no speed bumps, more data. It's like having a limitless highway of data speed at your fingertips. Whether you're a lone ranger with an individual plan or a squad rolling with a group plan, everyone gets to surf, stream, and share at enhanced, full, high-quality speed. Switch to Smart's powered-up postpaid plans today and ride the wave of postpaid power. Visit any Smart showroom or smart-bz.com for details and make your mobile experience smarter and faster. Smart, bringing people together.
I know I can't leave this plan. I can't leave this plan.
An equal opportunities bill has been in discussion in Belize for years. After one was drafted, it was withdrawn by the outgoing Dean Barrow administration in 2020 due to strong objection from the church community, especially the evangelical churches, who opposed the bill on the basis of promoting an advanced pro-LGBT agenda and breaking down traditional values. But it appears the Equal Opportunities Bill is back in the limelight. On Tuesday, the Belize network of NGOs launched a Belize We Ready campaign in support of the revised Equal Opportunities Bill that should be going to the House of Representatives. The revised bill now has 22 major parts for it to be all-inclusive, including areas of interest like education, health, housing, employment, among others. Today, Minister Balderramos Garcia spoke about the bill and told reporters she is in support of Belize We Ready.
You know, that's unfortunate. I have said that in relation to the equal opportunities legislation, we have to take baby steps. You know, we have had a lot of progress in terms of signaling equality, inclusion, non-discrimination. We have made a lot of progress. And I believe that in this country, we shouldn't be focusing on some of the fundamentalist faith-based organizations who may have objection, but we should focus on the majority of the Belizean public who are signaling that not only we have tolerance, but we also have acceptance and an approach of non-discrimination. So I just want to say that the Belize network of NGOs, I support them in saying Belize we're ready. Let's move as much as we can towards doing whatever we have to do to signal non-discrimination. We still have a lot of discrimination of persons living with HIV, for example. You know, and so I would want to say that it's unfortunate that one or two faith-based fundamentalist organizations would wish to hold back an agenda whose time has come in terms of us really embracing non-discrimination.
The Statistical Institute of Belize held its second quarterly press conference for 2024 earlier this week. They shared the most recent statistics on the GDP and the unemployment rate and overall economic outlook for our country thus far for the year. The GDP showed double-digit growth with a strong push from tourism, where accommodation and food services grew by almost 50%, driven by increased tourist arrivals to the country.
So for the first quarter of 2024, goods and services produced within the country totaled $1.49 billion. This is an increase of $136.2 million, or 10%, when compared to the first quarter of 2023, which was $1.36 billion. Now, let's go into the primary sector. As stated previously, this sector totaled $128.6 million. This is a decrease of $12.9 million, or 9.1%, when we compare it to the $141.6 million in quarter one of 2023. Within the primary sector, we saw decreases in agriculture, forestry, and fishing at 8.3%, and we saw a 16.3% decrease in mining. Let's look at the secondary sector now, where we look at the raw products being processed into a manufactured good. For the secondary sector, we have goods total at $202.6 million. This is an increase of $6.9 million, or 3.5%, when we compare it to the $195.7 million in quarter one of 2023. Within the sector, manufacturing was the only industry that saw a decrease, driven by the decline in citrus product and beverages. Looking at the tertiary, we're no longer focusing on goods, we're now looking at services. So in the quarter one of 2023, we had $847.5 million within this sector. We're now at $964.7 million. That is an increase of $117.2 million, or 13.8%.
Similarly, unemployment continues to show a positive outlook, standing at only 3%.
The unemployment rate for April 2024 stands at 3%. Female unemployment was slightly higher at 3.9%, compared to males at 2.5%. In April 2024, at the district level, there were variations observed. Kaya registered the highest unemployment rate at 3.7%, while Corozal registered the lowest at 1.6%. When looking at educational attainment across, we see that the highest unemployment rates was observed among persons who had secondary level education, while the lowest unemployment rate was observed among persons who had tertiary level education. A look at the main source of financial support shows that 3 out of 4 persons were mostly sustained by a parent, spouse, or child, while 17.5% of persons relied on themselves for financial support.
And that's the news. We invite you to join us for another newscast on Friday, June 28th here on Ctv3 and Fiesta FM 106.7. Remember that to read a text version of the news, you can visit our website at ctv3belizenews.com. You can also log on to our Facebook page for current stories at facebook.com/ctv3belizenews or our YouTube channel at Ctv3 News BZ. Remember to wash your hands and remain safe. From all of us here at Ctv3 News, thank you for watching and listening. Good night.